Hey there berries, welcome to my 11.12 support tier list. Well, for this patch, it's quite special because there are absolutely no support changes this patch. None, not even items. Next patch, there does seem to be some movement speed nerfs on some items like Shreddiers, but until then, absolutely nothing has changed. So if you've already watched a previous tier list, you're probably going to get a familiar idea of what's going to be up here and at the top. I did shift a couple of champions around. I don't really want to waste your time too much, so I'm just going to go through what is good in particular for around about gold until, well, gold minus, so like unranked to gold. And then at the end, I'm going to do a little overview of what's actually really strong in Plat Plus if you are in Plat Plus. So brief overview, tier 5, you got some usual, like, random pick champions that sometimes get played. Not really going to go into too much information about these champions. I do not advise playing any of those in solo queue. Tier 4, we have the generally slightly more mechanical kind of engager type champions. And then you've got some more useless ones there as well. I would not recommend still playing any of these champions if you are in gold minus. Moving up to tier 3. Tier 3, I did do some shifting around. I did put some champions down into tier 3, like Blitzcrank, Swain, Lux. Those champions were in tier 2. I've moved to tier 3, and they've moved the center up from tier 4 to tier 3. Mainly just because I feel like, those champions, the ones that I've moved down from tier 2 to tier 3, like the Swain and the Blitzcrank, honestly, just aren't worth it. There are just better champions than those at the top. Like, for example, in tier 1, spoilers, Nautilus is a much better pick than Blitzcrank. He provides much more utility in fights. Yes, you won't be able to hook through walls, but everything else in Nautilus kit is much, much, much better than Blitzcrank. Swain as well. I think a lot of people in general have been struggling to use Swain properly, primarily his E and the grab on that. So I've moved him down just because I don't think that players, particularly in silver minus, can play Swain properly. I might get a little bit of feedback from that, but like unless you feel like absolutely confident in Swain and you play him a lot and your win rate is honestly above like 53%. Just don't bother with him, honestly. You're probably, unfortunately, playing him wrong, and I would advise you to look at my Swain support guide if you have the time. Lux, I've moved down from tier 2 to tier 3. I think she's still decent, for sure, and if you're coming from mid and you've played a lot of mid Lux, then that is a champion that you can still play. I just feel like her values still aren't, like, super amazing. There are better AP champions to play, but, if Lux is a comfort pick for you, by all means, keep playing her in solo queue if you've been doing okay with her. And Senna, I've moved up from tier 4 to tier 3. I think a lot of people are going to have difficulty playing her properly, but she is particularly strong right now, as long as you don't get counted much bot side, which doesn't generally tend to happen as much in the lower ELOs compared to the higher ones. So you might be able to get away with playing some Senna, particularly if you have some AD carry history. You'll be used to, what you have to do and how to position as an AD carry. Moving up to tier 2, we have basically all the Uwus. The Uwu tier, this should just be called. Lots of Uwu. Nami, Janna, Lulu, Xerath, Soraka, Seraphine, Karma, and Yuumi. Yuumi, I've moved up from tier 3 to tier 2. Even though Yuumi does rely a lot on her AD carry, I feel like her base values, particularly on her Q, it's just too oppressive. As long as you're working with an AD carry that can get into range for you to be able to do your Q skill shots, I think she's a particularly good champion to play. Just remember you need to be unattached a lot of the time as well. Look to harass, help push in the wave, etc. So don't just AFK on your teammate. But Yuumi is a really good option. Just in general, she's really safe. Her healing is really, really strong. And then she's not looking to look any weaker in the next patch, either in 11.13. But that's going a bit too far into the future. But yeah, Yuumi is a decent pick. Seraphine as well. I've been enjoying playing her lately. I don't remember if I uploaded any Seraphine content up onto YouTube, but I'll definitely play some more if I haven't. And get some of that Seraphine content for you guys to watch. And, I played a bit of Soraka recently on some of my recent videos. I've enjoyed playing her. Even in high ELO, I feel like her harassment is pretty good in lane. In high ELO, they tend to buy Grievous Wounds quicker. In the lower ELOs, they tend to not to. So, yeah, Soraka, generally a pretty decent pick overall. And you know, Lulu is kind of in the same boat as Yuumi. It's just, you know, how good is your AD carry in lane? Lulu, you're kind of tied down to your AD carry a little bit more throughout the game. But just only play Lulu if you have that like auto hitting AD carry, such as Jinx or Vayne or Kog'Maw, those type of champions that rely on a lot more auto hits. For example, moving up into tier 1, you have nothing different here, nothing whatsoever. You know, as I said at the start, there's nothing different about this in this patch. No support changes, no item changes, no those direct support changes. There were a couple of AD carry buffs, one going over to Draven. We've got a Ziggs AP carry buff as well. You know, so we've got a couple of interesting like little minor buffs coming here and there for a couple of AD carries, but overall the support role is kind of unaffected by that. And you got the usual suspects we'd briefly talked about. Nautilus being particularly good as well with his utility. Leona's kind of in the same boat, a little bit more tankier than the Nautilus, but she can also engage through minions. So it kind of depends on what you want. Like Nautilus can isolate one target a bit better because you're yoinking them like halfway, whereas with Leona you're kind of like having to go in a bit deeper and relying on your team to follow up a little bit more. So with the Nautilus pick, it's like it makes it really obvious what target you want to focus, whereas with Leona you're relying a little bit on your team's IQ, which, you know, if you're in bronze you probably know that, you know, you and your teammates probably aren't the smartest or the sharpest tool in the shed. So maybe like Nautilus or making the obvious isolation pick might be the best. And you know, AP's AP is super strong right now. The Zyra and the brand looking to be pretty dominant still in the next coming patches, so make the most of them while you still can to get some of that easy LP. If you are gold or minus and you know, you're still looking to learn about the game, have a look on the channel. We have lots of guides for all the different types of supports for this season, so have a look, have a browse. We have guides covered for, you know, each, pretty much everything here from between tier 1 and tier 3, pretty much. But if you are in Plat Plus and for some reason you're looking at my tier list because you know, you're smart enough to play the game but not smart enough to use your actual brain, that is your selection there still for tier 6. Nothing's changed there. Yuumi is probably the most broken champion in high elo right now. Absolute disgusting. You can make a cup of tea while playing that champion. Don't actually do that, but you know what I mean. It's like, it's, you know, it's the easiest one to climb with for sure. Absolutely. You know, Lulu's really good. AD carries tend to get quite good around about the Diamond 2-ish area. So if you're feeling confident in your AD carries, Lulu's, go for it. And then you still got the same kind of hookers with the Nautilus and the Thresh this time popping up a bit, you know, a bit more relevant in the high elos than the lower ones. It does require people clicking lanterns and things like that. And Bard's still kind of like hanging around there in the high elo, just about. He's kind of like play rate's been dropped off a little bit, but he's kind of hanging around there. Well, sorry there, you know, this was just a, you know, a quick short tier list. I didn't want to like not make a video because I do one every 2 weeks and it would kind of feel weird for me out of my routine not to do a video. But I hope you guys are doing okay. Hope you guys are getting all of your jabs and stuff. I've got mine coming up on Friday. I'm really looking for I look forward to my 6G augmentation enhancement. Should be pretty good. Not like that joke hasn't been made like 50 million times already. I felt like making it again already. So, you know, it is here, recycling content. If you don't want to pop over onto the live stream, twitch.tv/Bizzleberry. We've been playing League. We've been playing a lot of different games actually recently. We've been playing some MMOs. We've been playing some there's this medieval RimWorld kind of game that's come out that we've had a lot of fun playing with. So if you want to come over and just say hi and just chill out, have me on some as a background sound, you're very much welcome to join in. But other than that, guys, take care, enjoy your summer, and see you again in 2 weeks for hopefully some actual support changes. I know, crazy, right?